I hate it when you offer someone a sincere compliment on their mustache and suddenly she's not your friend anymore. But enough about bearded ladies. Welcome to Shave&Butcher, where I'm trying out the razor for the first time. This is new to the den. It's a Shave&Butcher extra hollow ground, and it says, you can barely read it because it's worn. It says Shave&Butcher Sheffield. I think it's Shave&Butcher anyway. Yeah, Sheffield, not Sheffield, England. So according to general wisdom, this is older than 1892. I think that's true. New scales, maybe not the prettiest, but anyway, I bought this shave ready, so of course it wasn't, but it's been honed by our Honmeister, Niklas Gudmundsson. So very good. The soap, to make it a bit traditional and Yorkshire, is Mitchell's Wool Fat from Bradford. It's has lanolin and yeah, it has lanolin in it, so it's wool fat kind of. The brush is also quite old school and English. Simpsons, Chubby too. But he's a super badger. Okay, so we're gonna lube up in the jar. So this one has the traditional porcelain container, which you really need for Mitchell's Wool Fat. This is the only soap I blew, generally. I don't have to, but I do anyway. Really cool thing. This morning I had an email from Grey Dog, who sent me pictures from a thread in Leather and Blade about a Swedish person's shaving in 1941. So here are the pictures. Reminds you of someone, doesn't it? That was pretty cool to see. Thanks, Grey Dog. By the way, here's a picture of what I looked like when I had hair. And this is me just after shaving my head for the first time. So there you go. Not as young and handsome anymore, but what can you do? Life is hard on some of us. So this is a super dense brush with loads of hairs, so I'm loading quite heavily. You know, the look of this gives me chills and throwbacks to that American sort of equivalent, Williams. But that's the brush loaded. That should be enough. Thank you to some of you who listed their favorite movies. Now, the last video wasn't viewed by a lot of people, so I want to give others a chance to do the same thing. Top 3 movies. We had fun with those music albums, so top 3 movies, if you will. List them in the comments below and I'll check it out, and I'll check the comments on the previous video. So if you commented already, you don't have to do it again. And you know, it's for a laugh, and I'll report back in the next video if there is a red line, if there's particular movies, films, flicks that we like more than others. I have to say, some of the input already was very good. I concur with quite a bit of it, but a lot of films I've just never heard of, and I'm suspicious sometimes. I'm thinking, are they taking the Mickey again? You know, are they making this stuff up? Like this very famous Bulgarian movie. Wow, are you sure it exists? So I'll Google everything. No cheating, guys. Okay, Mitchell's wool fat requires a bit more work than some other soaps. So it's very foamy to start off with, and you need to beat it into submission. But there is reward for that hard work. I will compare it to Haslinger, as Francesco said he's still waiting for. It's just very hard. But I'll do it. I shaved with Haslinger yesterday, so I'm not going to do it today. But I will be analytical. I will form a proper opinion about it. So that's creamy enough. Now it's a matter of hydrating it. And this has tons and tons of lather. So you can almost shave with this. It's a little bit on the dry side, but it's pretty okay. You want to work it, because I want it really slick, and there still are bits and pieces of the lather which are foamy. Not on the face, but on the brush. So I'm painting quite a bit of water in. It's not a very fickle soap, so you don't have to pay too much attention for putting too much water in. And you don't have to work it a lot in between. In between phases of hydration. Because once you beat it down so it's not foamy anymore, it behaves pretty nicely. I like this soap, but I've come to like the Haslinger a lot as well. It came into my life very recently. This is such a big brush, it's ridiculous. Yeah, looking pretty good. Pretty good. Right? Very nice and creamy. It's a little bit on the dry side for me, but I think we'll let it be. We'll experiment with a slightly drier lather, why not? If you don't, you miss out on enjoying the differences. You always make the same lather. You could, of course, but I won't. Okay, the razor. Fingers crossed it's a good one. I can't remember what I paid for it. It wasn't super cheap. Shave&Butchers never are. Okay, here we go. A bit of a smile, so we need to be mindful of that. Oh yeah, this is no problem. No issues at all. So Niklas Gudmundsson now has the Philharmonica 14 and the beautiful Shave&Butcher that I got off from Chris Bailey. So that will be coming up in a week or two. Yeah, that's not a very good lather, actually. It's okay, but I should have paid more attention and made it more dense. Looks pretty good though. Looks pretty good, because you can really, if you work it with enough water and you aggregate, it's that word I never can pick. If you put enough power and friction in it, you can get it to lower structure, really wet, really dense lather. It's noisy, huh? But it's nice. You can still flick it off, the lather. Very cool. So back to work. Had to work pretty hard today, and that's good. It's the way it's supposed to be. Still is a bit of a shock because I did take quite a bit of vacation this year, so the brain's still trying to realize it has to be performing properly again. Always takes a bit of time. Yeah, it's one of the worst Mitchell Wolfat lathers I've made in quite some time. So it works fine. It's slick enough and everything. And when you get to the second pass, you can decide to put more focus on it, add more water, whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still a good lather. It's just not fantastic, not as good as it can be. But again, that's good. If you get it perfect every time, you can, of course, but really then you eventually stop appreciating it because you get so used to it. Don't get me wrong, this is a good lather. This is working just fine. So the quality of a razor and the edge, you really can only tell on the pass where you go essentially against the grain. It's working very well. So good job, Niklas, as usual. And there's the alum, which we always forget. Put a bit of water on the fingers. Put a bit of alum on the tips, and there you go. Is it dissipating a little? Mitchell's can be dissipating a bit if you haven't belted properly. Not too bad, probably a bit. Still okay. But it is a soap which requires a bit of attention. Like a lover. If you treat your lover well, you will get rewarded. I'm not going to get into how. Use your own imagination. Why do I have to be the dirty one all the time? Oh. That felt like a cut. I'm always amazed at how I'm able to cut myself. I think I'm okay. But I do occasionally cut myself. I've shaved so many times. I do the same thing every time. It's still incredible. Very nice. Oh, I was watching Jim Will Shave YouTube channel. Actually, I was watching it several days ago, where he was trying out the Bulldog soap. That soap is so bad. And Jim is having a UK soap month, So, you know, eventually you run out of soaps, I guess, and he picked a bulldog, which I didn't know was English, but apparently it is. And I've had it. It was sent to me by Frank Strömberg. And he said, this soap, see if you can lather it, because I can't, and I couldn't. I think Matti tried, and then we sent it to Justin, the Red Island shaver, who can lather anything, and even he was struggling. So Jim he really wanted to like that soap. He didn't want to talk badly about it, and he was trying and bow lathering and face lathering and bow lathering and face lathering, and adding more and more and more. You know, it was really funny to watch if you've used that soap, because you know there's no point. You're not gonna get a good lather. So eventually he gave up and he shaved with it. It was slick, but all soaps are, right? But he wasn't too happy, because he was really happy in the beginning, saying, it's only £5 for a replacement puck. That's really cheap, because it's a hard soap and you get a lot of shaves out of it. Well, I was thinking, you just wait. You're gonna throw that thing away, that's for sure. Cool, very nice. I'm gonna wipe the razor dry straight away, just to make sure A, we don't get minor corrosion, and B, we don't get any water stains on the beautifully polished blade. It's actually polished a bit too much for my liking for a vintage razor, but yeah, sometimes shiny is nice, and the stamps are still very visible, which is nice. Okay. Rinse time. So what do you call the I'm trying to make up a joke, I'm failing. What do you call the guy who was dating Jennifer Aniston and who's always very particular about getting all the soap off after he's shaved? Rinse Vaughn. Oh, I apologize. It's a little bit funny though. Not very, but a little bit. Classic again, Pinault Clubman. What is this? This is American, isn't it? You can read what's in it and stuff, and the fact that it's flammable through the bottle. That's pretty cool. I don't use this very often. I don't always find myself in the mood for it, but I did today. It just feels old school. It's not English, but I don't have any English aftershaves. Well, vintage. Very nice, and I'm going to smell well. Movies, please. And then we'll summarize, and you know, is this fun? Shall we do more? I don't know. Best favorite birds in the forest. Okay, I know 0, so we're not doing that. Go away and stay sharp.